Despite everything, Baba is still you. And last time, I beat the Solitary Island. Pretty big area full of a lot of different levels. And as such, opened up 2 different levels now. The Temple Ruins and the Forest of Fall. And while the Forest of Fall sounds pretty interesting, I am still beholden to ascending order of numbers for no particular reason. I don't know, I mean, I'm going to be doing everything, so let's get right into the Temple Ruins. I swear, if there's like a block in here that says MWYA, or I find an artifact, I'm going to be mad. Yes, first level here. Not a very difficult one, just one to kind of introduce you to this new concept. Weak. What is weak? Well, you touch anything, except for text, destroyed. Even items that are technically not active in any way. I mean, grass is not even a block in this area, and you still get destroyed if you touch it. So, first off, stop that. I mean, this is more of an introductory puzzle. It's not supposed to be difficult in any way. But it is also supposed to show you that weak takes precedence over just about anything else, so I don't get defeated if I just destroy the skull before I can touch it. And yeah, and that is going to be important later, as this is another way of destroying things. I talked about kind of last time how the only way to interact with stuff is to destroy it, and that is very true here. Now you don't need to sink objects or have objects be defeated to be destroyed. You just need to push them into another object. Which is going to become important, for example, in this second area, when it introduces a new keyword, has. Now, I mean, I could just stop Baba right here, because, move that move out of the way. But, no, I think Baba's been a star of the show a little too long. It's KK's time to shine. Alright, so has would kind of imply that, well, the rock is contained on the person of Baba, but that is not actually what it is. It pretty much means that upon destruction, in this case sink, as you can see in the upper left corner, Baba is replaced. Baba creates a rock. And with that sort of logic intact, I don't even technically need to save Baba. Just do that. Because if a rock creates a rock upon defeat, rock can't be destroyed. I mean, it's all you have infinite rocks. And now, if you thought the game was getting a little bit abstract before, the idea of having infinite amount of something is going to get even more ridiculous over time. All right, I'm Love. Love is Melt. And box has flag. So pretty much need to destroy the box. And that is actually fairly simple, because box is not melt. I mean, box is push, but not melt. So, I mean, can't really spell this out anymore now, can I? However, I do need to not do that. I do need to make sure that I am kind of careful with how I use these words, since there's not too many different. In fact, all right, there we go. What am I even thinking? I mean, it's like I have several is to take here, but yes, all I need to do is just make sure that box is melt, and that means that I can take the is and I can take the melt. Why am I not just taking both? All right. Everything else can stay as is. And then pretty much, there we go. Much simpler in this way. Although I do need to still get that box in there in the first place. The words being physical objects is still something of a thing in the game. Something to remember. And there. Which means that I was really making that way too difficult on myself for no real reason. But whatever. Present for you, present open, present obtained. The ruins is actually a pretty short area. Has and weak is kind of the main thing that is introduced here. So we don't get a whole lot of like little sub-levels like in the other areas here. Oh, I mean, this is pretty easy. might look a little bit rough to try to figure out because, of course, box when destroyed creates love, and love is defeat. And also you can't even change love into anything else just because, you know. However, you know what doesn't spawn love when destroyed? Not that. What am I even thinking? I meant to just do this. Because I don't even need to technically destroy KK here. I just need to move him in an area. Sorry, KK, you had your time to be the star of the show. Now it's Box's time. Finally, literally living up to the sort of Sokoban feel that this has had the entire time. Same sort of concept as last time. Box has box, which means that when box is destroyed, box spawn box. You know what? Forget about this water. I don't need it. Because the second that the box gets destroyed, it just gets replaced by another box, which is still me, so why not? There. Now for any other intrepid traveler coming through here, should be very easy to solve this puzzle. Not that I think that's even possible due to the weird constraints of this game. So where's the key? Well, I mean, the key's in the box, but box doesn't exist. Box, however, is weak, though. And I mean, obviously the first inclination is that, you know, you just want to say like, hey, why don't I just make Baba the box and then destroy that, get that key. Nope, because in the bottom right corner, Baba is Baba. Can't do that. However, what I can do, especially using the weak keyword, is destroy Baba. I can easily make Baba is weak. For example, and upon destruction, make it so Baba also then spawns a box. And wait, I said is weak. I meant and weak. Because you is nothing. That's meaningless. Still need to be somebody though. Right. Right, Baba continues to be weak. Gotta get the syntax correct. I mean, this is kind of an interesting level because it really is all about the syntax, after all. It has almost nothing to do with... And there we go. It almost has nothing to do with, figuring out how to push the stuff in a specific order in any way or not. Get out of here, Baba. I don't need your help anymore. Yeah, I mean, because here all you have to do is you just have to create the correct phrase using the correct syntax. And it's going to be pretty much the exact same thing as last time, where I just make sure that as soon as the box is destroyed, it continues to be a box. And also that it has a key now, because I can also do that. And yeah, one of the things that tripped me up the first time was the fact that you can only really use box the one time. However, you need to use box twice. Well, luckily there's two boxes. Just litter this area with keys. Why? Because I can. I do like at some points in this game really does give you that, the ability to do some stupid novelty things, even though it really has no purpose in the actual game. It's just fun and stupid to do. Oh, wait. There we are. Probably shouldn't have created this many keys. Oh, well. Try that again. Like I said, the fact that you can create so many keys is part of the game's charm. And really, I would say the ability for everything to be so ridiculously open-ended. I mean, I have seen a whole bunch of different solutions to puzzles out there. And people have told me some different solutions, too. Because apparently the way that I did Dungeon last time is not really the way that you should be doing Dungeon. Because apparently you can, just because you can push around objects, if you push an object onto you, it still is able to go on top of it. the collision is one way. You to a pushable object, not push to a you object. So, you know. Very, different ways you can do stuff. I mean, there's also a bunch of other things, like for example, one that I solved, the one where you go over the water. It's like you could also just make the... Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's the exact same concept here as the previous level. And the destroyable box permanently. But, yeah, the other one where I got where I went over the river while pushing blocks, it's like I could have also just made the river float at that same time, too. And it's like... It's interesting. It's interesting how you can approach this game in different ways. It's all about kind of figuring out the logic here. And oh yes, I have 3 flowers now that I've cleared that area. Opening up this area. Or a level called A Way Out? Which I guess, I don't know, like it's supposed to be an ending or something? Am I still trying to escape this island? I don't know. There's really no story in here to be had. 7, 5, open up Flower Garden, which feels appropriate for this game. Deep Forest, and Rocket Trip, which I guess is how you get into outer space there. But not doing that quite yet. Still got a couple more levels here, and I'm solving everything as best I can. We'll see. Like I said, the game is supposed to get the later on. Yeah, and this one has absolutely nothing to do with, the idea of, like, has and destroying and everything like that. I mean, this is just a straightforward sort of automation puzzle, as you saw back in the Solitary Island. And this is not how I meant to do it. I moved too far. But it's like, yeah, way in the first episode or something like that? One of the things I did was, you know, make it so that defeat stuff, lava in particular, you can just move out of the way. Same concept here. Do that, and there we go. And I guess there's no actual flag here, despite the fact that that's the win condition. So instead, yeah, reverse that curse. I mean, skulls are important. They make sure that your head has shape and that it doesn't just, you know, fold in on itself. So I would say that getting one is definitely a winning condition. But here we are, all the way back to the same sort of basic concept. So, water is defeat. And also Baba has KK, but that's not really going to help me at all here. But the thing with this whole deal is that defeat only affects the player character. So, if you were to say, I don't know, make it so that you got KK across the water here. First off, if you were to make it so that KK got across the water here without being controlled by you, he would be able to continue to go. So we'll just do that right now. Unfortunately, then he's destroyed. So that's not really going to be too helpful. However, Bava continues to be a controllable character. And there is no water over there. So this is... I'm just going to get him defeated. And then... Hooray! Unfortunately. Yeah. So, I mean, this is pretty simple, though. I mean, it's not too bad, because has is pretty much just a license to create an infinite amount of, well, anything. Damn it. Too far. As long as you have at least one has, you can just do anything. As long as I make sure that I don't accidentally kill secondary Baba here. Yeah, this'll help. And there we go. And with a secondary KK. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. You can just use has to I mean, it's less like having and more like transmutation in this case. It's just like the keywords have meaning, but at the same time, they also not always not the keywords. I mean the individual like actions have meaning, but they also have like secondary meaning on top of it. They just have one very the word is really just a small descriptor, a small part of what they can do. For example, you is not really actually you. You is more like an action that means control, or I don't know, like yeah, control is pretty much the only thing I can come up with. Also, this is a surprisingly easy level, all things considered. I'm not really sure, and doesn't really have too much to do with the otherwise gimmick of this area. I don't know, maybe just more of a, like, for funzo type of thing. Because, I mean, it definitely does make the walls look like gold, after all. Still, a little bit out of place, comparatively. Maybe you can think of that as the treasure you find in the ruins. Also, speaking of that, despite the fact that there are those two little statues over there, I don't think you ever actually see, like, statues or pillars anywhere in this entire area, which is weird. All right, so let's just get the lay of the land here, because this is the most complicated of the one. Only extra level in the ruins, and by far, probably the most difficult one. Or at least the hardest one to kind of wrap your head around. So, Baba is Baba. I can't, grass is defeat, so I can't just have the Babas, say, walk across the grass and then turn them into KK. That would just destroy them. Or even be controllable, actually, because they're defeat. And if defeat is you, then you just instantly, if an object is defeat and an object is you instantly get destroyed. So, the goal here is to get to that flag. Or get that flag over here, I suppose, but as you can probably see on the bottom there is exactly one little tiny block here that prevents you from being able to push flag is a second thing on top of there, which is what makes this so devious. So, pretty much, what do you need to do? Well, first off, let's stop these Babas from moving. And then we have the ability to push, so, well, yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Kind of get these Babas lined up in whatever way that they may or may not need to be. And then get them autonomously moving once again. And this one actually did not take me too much time. I mean, despite the fact that how difficult this one is, it didn't actually take me too much time to figure out, just because it's like, as ridiculous as this seems, there's really not too many options aside from exactly what I'm doing right now to solve it. It's one of the things that makes some of the later puzzles a little, you know, in some ways a little bit easier than the earlier ones. So anyway, you can see exactly what I did here is that pretty much flag is win is in that order, because if stuff is pushed against it, you can say, like, keep Baba is move still active. Or even KK is you if you line the KK and you up with that other is. However, the problem is that I still can't actually go into the grass without dying. But I can if I'm not me. And there you go. Moves, I mean, it's exactly created to move them just enough to get that KK is you, but then Baba is no longer move. And then you're on the other side of that. And that's actually the entire ruins. Yeah, the pretty short, pretty simple area. Not too bad at all. However, I did open up this other place here, so let's check it out. Level finale, which is surprising. And quite an area to start out with here. All right. I mean, hey, if it's going to be a finale, Which, speaking of which, you can see on the bottom here, there's an end and there's a win. So, where to even start with this one? There is something new here, which is belt is shift, which basically means that belt works as a belt does. When it's not shift, it just is an object. So that's something to take note of. Although, funny enough, that is a total red herring. You don't need to do anything with that. It does seem like what you might want to do is you might want to say, like, push this, make it so that you can walk around on the two belts that you're given here, which was the original way that I kind of thought about how to go about doing this. But, and then, like, maybe do this then instead. But the thing is, Baba then is trapped in this area. So that's not going to be very helpful. And Baba is also push for some reason. I don't know, maybe that has something to do with the shift. I'm not really sure. And it seems pretty obvious that the idea here is that you're going to want rock. Oh, yes, also the ice is melt and then ice turns into wall as soon as you're done with that. And if you go in this area, you can leave, but that's not really very helpful. Because then rock is just pushed down there, and if you try to go over to this place, yeah. So, pretty much it seems like what you're going to want to do is you're going to want rock to be push, and then rock to be win, I guess. Or rock to be weak, I mean. And you can see even if you can push the rock, skull is always going to be defeat, kind of impeding your progress to get that end. But I don't necessarily need to get the end to actually win this level. I can at least just win the level first and then figure out how to get end later. So, I can get stuff to move. I can push KK around. And I mean, much like I was talking about where I can go up here and push this. It's like, I don't need to. Don't get KK to do that. And even though KK is not being controlled by me, there you go. He is now stuck in there forever. And also being pushed myself. Now I'm stuck here. However, like I said, pushing objects can be, like, just because you're pushed doesn't mean that objects still can't walk in between you. So anyway, that's like one way, and this is one way to kind of get rock down here, which is not very useful. I mean, I can't really do stop with anything like that or whatever. So pretty much as this is good, rock is at least like approachable now. I can get to it. It doesn't really do too much for me. So if I say, like, wanted to make it so that rock is push, I can do something like this, but it doesn't really work in the way that I want it to. So what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way back to the beginning. And then instead, because move, one of the things with move and shift is that as soon as KK gets over here, he's going to immediately go down and start pushing rock, which is exactly what I want him to do. Because at this point now, what I can do is... Now you might say, hey, wait a second, this is backwards. This is not how rock is push actually works. Or is it? Because there. Now I got a handy-dandy little way to have this automated. And due to the fact there's still one area left to leave, there we go. Now, like I said, pushing Skull's defeat doesn't actually matter. That Skull remains defeat. However, now Flag is win. So I beat the level, but I didn't get end. Of course, end is actually incredibly simple to get. I mean, it kind of is surprising to me that it's even like when I saw this level for the first time, it did kind of take me a little while to figure out exactly the sort of crazy automation nonsense that you need to do to get that rock is push in place. But then it's like, to actually get the end is not difficult at all. It's sort of surprising because it seems like this area is based a lot on like a lot of red herrings and stuff like that don't really matter, because rock is weak just means dip, dip. And screw that. I don't want flag to be win, I want flag to be end. So just destroy that. Even though I don't even need to destroy it because I just do this. For some reason, skull is not skull. So, yeah. And there we go. Now, what is actually happening right now? I don't know. Something, certainly. First time I saw this, I wasn't even entirely sure what to do. I kind of like froze for a couple minutes, being like, wait, what am I actually supposed to do right now? Realized then I still had control here and started collecting all the flowers? Why? I don't know. So, I beat the game. Yeah, I know. I was surprised when that happened, too. Really? That was quick. I mean, yeah, okay, obviously there is clearly a lot more stuff to do right now, but still, it's kind of surprising that it's like, wait a second, I only beat 3 worlds and suddenly it's already done? Or I'm guessing that probably the deal is that it is supposed to be like one ending of several. So, no, we ain't over here, but it's definitely interesting to see that it's just like, wait a second, I beat the game? What? Hey, what? Also, Jonathan Blow. See you there. And Terry Kavanagh. Yep. So yeah, great game. And not even remotely close to over yet, but again, just extremely surprised that it's like, wait, that's all you need to do to beat the game? Oh, okay, cool. Good dogs, also other dogs. It's like, yep, very much like the credits for Environmental Station Alpha 2. Or as well. And there we go. Got a little flag next to the save file. And next time, not an ending, but the Forest to Fall.